When we're talking about the big traditional NBA rivalries, Grizzlies Blazers, it's not exactly Celtics Lakers, right? Still, there's some bad blood there, just the same. Remember back in 2015 when Portland broke Mike Conley's face? Yeah, it was all blue and black and puffy after that. It was gross. Or you can just forward to last summer in the bubble when the teams matched up in the NBA's first ever play-in game, an affair that turned into an all-out war by the fourth quarter. Remember C.J. McCollum's closing kick, scoring over John Morant, and screaming to the 100 or so of us who were in the building that night, quote, "He can't guard me." Well, actually, that's not a direct quote because there was also a significant curse word thrown in there, but you get the point.
What did they say?
I'm going to leave that to your imagination, Richard Jefferson. Bottom line, there is no love lost between the two teams, which means we've seen plenty of spice as they faced each other twice in the past 3 days. There was Friday's Memphis win, which came down to the final minute, included a little back and forth shove sort of elbow thing between Dame Lillard and Dillon Brooks. Lillard later said this, quote, "I told Dillon Brooks, man, you're going to play physical and play how you're going to play, but don't run up to me and do stuff like that. It's going to go one of two ways, and we don't want it to go in that other direction." Okay, message received. And then there was yesterday's game, which, yeah, John Morant, very good at the basketball, people. Watch this play from the start where he pins the ball guys right up there on the backboard, then speeds down the court.
You remember that?
Yes.
Monsieur Little, sorry.
No. Oh.
And swish for three. Yeah, everyone saw a piece of that. This was later in the first half.
Ooh, he's coming for the top point guard spot. It's like once Chris Paul decides to call it a day, it's going to be Ja.
Handles are ridiculous. And then the dunks came. Take a look at this nice one in the third quarter.
Ooh.
Mr. Dunker there.
He just don't care about anybody.
No, he don't.
He goes at everybody.
And then he picks Norm Powell's pocket there. Down the court. My Lord, that rim is like bruised this morning.
Doing it.
First of all, he did a double pump, and then he also grabbed the ball and hit it on the backboard. If
the game was close down the stretch. Memphis did seal it. And afterward, well, this time it was Brooks who did the talking.
I don't think they thought that, we were remembering in the bubble. I pulled right back. I talked the whole game. They don't like that. I'm physical. I don't think a lot of guys in the league, see this type of defense. So, I'm bringing every single night, and I'm trying to rise to the occasion.
They don't think we remembered the bubble. Fantastic. That attitude from Dillon is pretty representative of the entire Grizzlies team right now. The swagger, the hustle, the desire to prove themselves in a season that a lot of folks around the league thought Memphis might be better off tanking. After all, they had Jaren Jackson Jr. out most of the year. He's now finally back. Ja missed 8 games with an ankle injury. Jonas Valanciunas missed a chunk of time due to COVID protocols. And yet, here we are, only a few weeks out from the playoffs, and Memphis is sitting at that 8th spot in the Western Conference standings, just hundredths of percentage points back from, Portland, which is fascinating, and not what we expected, not after Dame so brilliantly carried that team in the first half of the season. But it's possible the amount of work that took has caught up with the Blazers now. They've lost 5 straight, 9 of their last 11. And while they will have the chance to put some more air between them and Memphis on Wednesday when the two teams face off yet again, it's certainly possible the standings hold on as is at the end of the season. Because, yes, gentlemen, if so, it would be Grizzlies Blazers and, right back in the West primary play-in game. And from what we've seen so far, it could be a whole lot of fun. No, this rivalry is not the second coming of Larry Bird and Magic Johnson. But as long as no one else breaks their face, I say, bring it on. Apparently you feel the same way. Robert, what about you? How dangerous does Ja Morant make the Grizzlies in a play-in scenario? What are you doing?
Oh, do you know what?
Question I ask you pretty much every day.
Ja is that guy that has no fear. When you talk about no fear, he has no fear. He cares about no one. Think about it. As a rookie, he went at James Harden. He doesn't care. And when you got that kind of no fear, you're going to go out and just play basketball like you want to play, regardless if you're going up against Larry Bird, Magic Johnson,
Dame Lillard, James Harden.
Any of the greats. So I like the way this guy plays. He plays with the love and the passion that you want every player in this game to play with.
Now look, let's I got to set the table a little bit here for a second. One, when I talk about Chris Paul being like a point guard, I look at him as like, I'm going to run the team. I'm going to do the majority of the assists. I'm going to do that. So all you Steph Curry stands, don't start hitting me with Steph. Look, Steph is he's a hybrid two-guard, a different type. So as far as setting up his teammates, Dillon Brooks, I love it.
Right?
I love it. Don't ever change. You're right. But when you're playing him again, you get the MJ. It's great to see guys, It's easy to talk trash when you're up a little bit, when the game's tight. Now, if you want to keep that energy starting the game, and I'm not saying that Dillon Brooks is going to change, but that's what makes it fun to watch. It's like, oh, you say these things in the game, then you say in post-game, you guys win, you guys earned it, but now the fun part is that next game. Coming up, that's the game to watch.
Because there's certain guys you don't say that to, and Dame Lillard is one of the top 5 guys. You don't say that
and
to.
So that's why I have respect for Dillon Brooks. I have respect for Dillon to be like, hey, I said it, I'll say it again, and we play him in 2 days.
Yep.
Yes.
And then we get to the MJ. And it's just true. It's just true to see if that's going to be the case. I'm not saying Dame's going to go for 70. I'm not saying Dillon Brooks is going to shy away. But ultimately, the real game comes this next one. They're just like in the postseason. That's what makes these kind of back-to-back games a little bit more fun.
And Damian pointed out after yesterday's game, he said, I'm not a huge trash talker. And that is true, by the way. He just backs it up with his actions, and we've seen the this. So Wednesday's game, and then also if this ends up being the play-in for the West for the 7-8 spot, I think that's going to be awesome. It's really fun to see those teams go at it. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.